What if one of the most trusted pieces of advice you've heard your entire life is only half the truth? Since childhood, you've probably been told, always be honest. You were taught that honesty builds trust, earns respect, and protects you from regret. It sounds like perfect advice, and honesty is indeed one of the greatest virtues a person can have. But there is a hidden danger that almost no one talks about. The danger is not honesty itself. The danger is being honest without wisdom. Every day, good people unknowingly make themselves vulnerable because they believe that telling everyone everything is a sign of integrity. They reveal their fears, admit every weakness, share every dream, and expose every emotion, believing this openness will bring people closer. Sometimes it does, but many times it quietly gives the wrong people the exact information they need to control, manipulate, or undermine them. That is the hidden danger of being honest. Many people mistake honesty for complete transparency. They believe that if they have nothing to hide, they should have nothing to protect. As a result, they answer every personal question, explain every decision, confess every insecurity, and announce every future plan. They feel that withholding information is somehow dishonest. But there is a profound difference between telling the truth and exposing your entire life. Honesty means your words are genuine. It does not mean everyone deserves unlimited access to your thoughts, your emotions, or your private world. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. Within a few conversations, you tell them about your biggest fears, your financial struggles, your family problems, your disappointments, and the dreams you hope to achieve. At that moment, it may feel like you are building trust. In reality, trust has not yet been built at all. Information has simply been transferred. Trust is earned through time, consistency, loyalty, and proven character. Powerful people understand this difference. They never lie about who they are, but they never confuse honesty with immediate emotional exposure. One of the hidden dangers of being honest is that not everyone values honesty the way you do. Honest people often assume that others think with the same integrity they possess. They believe that if they would never misuse someone's vulnerability, no one else would either. Unfortunately, the world does not always work that way. Some people listen with compassion, while others listen with calculation. They quietly remember your insecurities, your emotional triggers, and the moments when you doubted yourself. They may never use that information immediately. They simply store it. Then, during conflict, competition, or betrayal, the very truths you freely shared become the tools they use against you. This is why wisdom must always guide honesty. Before revealing something deeply personal, ask yourself a simple question. Has this person earned the right to know this? If the answer is uncertain, silence is often the wiser choice. Silence is not deception. Silence is discernment. There are parts of your life that should be shared only with people who have consistently demonstrated loyalty, maturity, and respect. Giving everyone access to your inner world is not authenticity. It is unnecessary vulnerability. Consider how successful people handle their ambitions. Many never announce every goal the moment they create it. They work quietly while others are still talking. This is not because they are dishonest about their dreams. It is because they understand that unfinished plans are fragile. Too many opinions can create doubt. Too much praise can reduce discipline. Too much criticism can weaken confidence. By protecting their goals until they become reality, they give those goals the greatest chance to succeed. The same principle applies to your emotions. Feeling hurt, afraid, or uncertain is part of being human, but expressing every emotion to every person is rarely wise. Emotional maturity is not suppressing your feelings. It is choosing the right people and the right time to express them. Some individuals will help you heal. Others will simply collect your pain as future leverage. The hidden danger of being honest is forgetting that people have different intentions, even when they ask the same questions. There is another reason excessive honesty can become dangerous. The more people know about your fears, habits, and emotional patterns, the easier it becomes to predict your behavior. Predictability gives manipulative people an advantage. They know what compliments will influence you, what criticism will hurt you, and what situations will pressure you into making decisions against your own interests. Powerful people protect themselves from this by remaining truthful while also maintaining healthy boundaries. Their character is open, but their private life is earned, not freely available. Being wise with your honesty does not make you secretive or dishonest. It makes you responsible. Your life is valuable. Your thoughts are valuable. Your dreams are valuable. Not everyone deserves immediate access to them simply because they asked. True integrity is not measured by how much you reveal. It is measured by whether your words remain truthful while your boundaries remain strong. The hidden danger of being honest is not that honesty will destroy your life. It is that honesty without wisdom can place your trust, your peace, and your future into the hands of people who never deserved them in the first place. And once you understand that honesty should always be protected by wisdom, the next lesson becomes impossible to ignore. Not everyone who asks about your life has earned the privilege of knowing the truth about it. Have you ever wondered why some people ask so many personal questions the very first time they meet you? They ask about your dreams, your struggles, your relationships, your finances, your fears, and your future plans. It often feels harmless because the conversation is friendly. You assume they are simply interested in getting to know you. So, in the name of honesty, you answer everything. You believe that openness creates trust. But this is where the hidden danger of being honest becomes even more serious. Not everyone who asks about your life has earned the right to know it. Some people are seeking understanding, while others are quietly collecting information. Powerful people understand this difference, and that is why they never give unlimited access to their private world simply because someone asks. One of the greatest mistakes honest people make is believing that kindness automatically equals trustworthiness. Someone smiles at them, listens carefully, and appears supportive, so they immediately begin sharing deeply personal details. They talk about their biggest ambitions, their childhood wounds, the mistakes they regret, and the goals they have not yet achieved. In that moment, it feels like a genuine connection is forming. But a conversation is not proof of loyalty. Comfort is not proof of character. Trust cannot be built in a few minutes, a few days, or even a few weeks. It is built through consistent actions over time. Powerful people never confuse familiarity with trust. They understand that there is a significant difference between someone knowing your story and someone earning the right to hear it. Every meaningful relationship grows in stages. Respect comes first. Consistency follows. Loyalty is tested. Only then does deeper honesty naturally develop. They never rush this process because they know that once private information leaves their mouth, they can never take it back. Think about how often people unknowingly create their own problems through excessive honesty. Someone excitedly shares a new business idea before it has even begun. Another person reveals financial goals to people who secretly compete with them. Someone else openly discusses family problems with acquaintances who later spread those conversations as gossip. None of these people intended to create difficulties. They simply believed that honesty meant sharing everything. They forgot that honesty should always be balanced by discernment. The reality is that not everyone celebrates your success. Not everyone protects your confidence. Not everyone respects your vulnerability. Some people smile while secretly comparing themselves to you. Others appear supportive while quietly hoping you fail. A few become jealous the moment they realize your potential exceeds their own. These people rarely reveal their intentions immediately. They wait, they observe, and the more they know about your life, the more opportunities they have to influence it. This does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone around you. Living with constant distrust creates another kind of prison. The lesson is much simpler. Learn to let trust grow naturally instead of giving it away instantly. Powerful people remain polite, respectful, and honest, but they also understand that access to their private thoughts is something that must be earned. They know that boundaries are not walls built from fear. They are doors that open only for people who have consistently demonstrated integrity. There is another hidden danger that many honest people overlook. The more people know about your future plans, the more opinions they begin offering. Some will discourage you because they cannot imagine achieving what you hope to achieve. Others will unintentionally fill your mind with doubt through their own fears. A few may even try to compete with you using the ideas you openly shared. Suddenly, What began as an exciting vision becomes weighed down by unnecessary pressure. Powerful people avoid this by protecting their goals during the early stages. They allow their work to grow quietly before revealing the results. The same principle applies to your emotional life. Every disappointment, every insecurity, and every painful experience does not belong in every conversation. There are people who will genuinely help you heal, and there are others who will remember your weakest moments only to remind you of them during future disagreements. Honest people often believe everyone values vulnerability. Wise people understand that vulnerability should only exist where loyalty has already been proven. Notice how individuals with strong influence rarely feel pressured to answer every personal question. If someone asks about something they prefer to keep private, they respond respectfully without revealing more than necessary. They do not feel guilty for protecting their boundaries because they understand that privacy is not deception, it is responsibility. They have learned that saying, "I'd rather keep that personal," is often wiser than giving an answer that can never be taken back. This level of discipline requires patience because modern culture often encourages immediate openness. People are told that revealing everything makes them authentic, but authenticity is not measured by how much of your life you display. It is measured by whether your words remain truthful while your judgment remains strong. You can be sincere without becoming exposed. You can be kind without becoming predictable. You can be honest without handing strangers the keys to your inner world. Powerful people know that trust is one of the most valuable things they possess. That is why they never give it away simply because someone appears friendly. They allow people to earn deeper access through consistent loyalty, honest actions, and respect shown over time. In doing so, they protect not only their peace but also their future from unnecessary betrayal and disappointment. And once you realize that not everyone deserves the truth about your private world, the next lesson becomes even more important. Even your deepest weaknesses should only be shared with those who have truly earned your trust. One of the greatest misunderstandings about honesty is the belief that being completely open about your weaknesses will always make people respect you. You often hear people say, "Just be vulnerable," or "Tell everyone how you feel." While vulnerability has its place, there is a hidden danger that very few people talk about. Your weaknesses should never be shared carelessly. They should be shared selectively. The hidden danger of being honest is that once your deepest fears and insecurities leave your mouth, they no longer belong only to you. They become information that others can interpret, judge, remember, and sometimes even use against you. Powerful people understand that honesty does not require emotional exposure to everyone. They know that wisdom begins with choosing the right audience. Think about how many people reveal their deepest struggles simply because someone asked, "Are you okay?" Within minutes, they begin describing every insecurity, every fear, every disappointment, and every emotional wound they have ever carried. At that moment, they feel relieved because expressing emotions can be therapeutic. But they often forget one important question. Has this person actually earned the right to hear this part of my life? Honest people sometimes mistake curiosity for compassion. They believe that because someone is willing to listen, that person must genuinely care. Unfortunately, listening and caring are not always the same thing. Some people listen because they want to understand you. Others listen because information gives them influence. They quietly observe what hurts you the most, what makes you doubt yourself, and what emotional triggers affect your decisions. They may never reveal these intentions immediately. In fact, they often appear supportive at first. But when disagreements arise months or even years later, the weaknesses you once shared in confidence suddenly become weapons. They know exactly what to say to shake your confidence because you unknowingly gave them the blueprint. This is why powerful people never reveal every weakness to everyone they meet. They understand that emotional honesty must always be guided by emotional intelligence. They are not afraid to admit their imperfections, but they choose carefully who deserves to see them. They know that trust is not created by revealing everything at once. Trust is built slowly through loyalty, consistency, and proven character. Only after someone has repeatedly demonstrated respect do powerful people begin sharing the deeper parts of themselves, there is another danger that many people overlook. Constantly talking about your weaknesses can slowly shape your identity. The more you introduce yourself through your fears, your failures, and your painful experiences, the more your mind begins to define you by those things. You stop seeing your struggles as temporary challenges and begin treating them as permanent characteristics. Powerful people avoid this trap. They acknowledge their weaknesses privately, work relentlessly to improve them, and refuse to let their limitations become the most memorable part of who they are. Notice how emotionally mature individuals handle difficult seasons in life. They do not pretend everything is perfect. They do not hide from reality. But neither do they seek comfort from everyone around them. When they need advice, they seek people who have demonstrated wisdom. When they need support, they turn to those who have earned their confidence. They understand that quality matters far more than quantity. One trustworthy mentor is more valuable than 100 casual listeners. Many people believe that keeping certain struggles private means suppressing emotions. It does not. There is a significant difference between emotional suppression and emotional discipline. Suppression means denying your feelings. Discipline means expressing them wisely. Powerful people allow themselves to feel pain, disappointment, fear, and uncertainty. They simply refuse to make every emotional moment public. They know that healing often requires reflection before revelation. Imagine a person who experiences failure and immediately announces every doubt to everyone they know. They begin hearing dozens of conflicting opinions. Some people discourage them, others criticize them. A few secretly enjoy watching them struggle. Instead of recovering, they become overwhelmed by outside voices. Now imagine someone else facing the same failure. They take time to reflect. They seek advice from one trusted individual. They learn from the experience, improve quietly, and return stronger. Both people were honest with themselves, but only one protected their weakness while it was still healing. This principle applies far beyond personal struggles. It also applies to your ambitions, your uncertainties, and the areas where you are still growing. Every unfinished part of your life deserves protection until it becomes stronger. A seed is protected beneath the soil until it develops roots. If it were constantly exposed before it was ready, it would never grow. Your confidence develops in much the same way. Constant exposure before emotional strength has formed can damage the very growth you are trying to achieve. Powerful people understand that everyone has weaknesses. They never pretend to be perfect. The difference is that they refuse to let those weaknesses become public property. They work on them in private, seek guidance from trustworthy people, and allow their progress, not their pain, to become visible. Their honesty remains genuine because it is balanced with discernment. They know that transparency without judgment creates vulnerability, while honesty guided by wisdom creates strength. This does not mean becoming emotionally distant or refusing to trust anyone. Genuine relationships require openness, but genuine openness is earned, not automatic. The people who deserve your deepest truth are the people who have repeatedly shown that they can protect it. Until then, your responsibility is not to reveal everything. It is to protect what is still growing. And once you learn to share your weaknesses only with those who have truly earned your trust, the next lesson becomes impossible to ignore. The most honest people are often the easiest targets for those who know exactly how to manipulate them. One of the greatest hidden dangers of being honest is something most people never realize until it is too late. Honest people often believe everyone thinks the way they do. Because they value truth, they naturally expect others to value it as well. Because they would never manipulate another person, they assume other people would never manipulate them. This innocent assumption creates one of the biggest weaknesses an honest person can have. The danger is not honesty itself. The danger is believing that everyone deserves the same level of trust simply because you live by honesty. Powerful people understand that integrity is a personal choice, not a universal rule. They remain honest themselves, but they never assume honesty in everyone else. Imagine lending money to someone because you know you would always repay a debt, or trusting someone with private information because you would never betray another person's confidence. or believing someone's promises because you personally never make promises you cannot keep. In every one of these situations, you are not judging people by their character, you are judging them by your own. This is where honest people often make their biggest mistake. They project their own values onto people who may not share those values at all. Manipulative people recognize this pattern almost immediately. They know that genuinely honest people are usually straightforward, emotionally transparent, and predictable. They know that these individuals rarely expect deception because deception is foreign to their own way of thinking. This gives manipulative people an advantage. They begin saying exactly what an honest person wants to hear. They promise loyalty they never intend to give. They pretend to share the same values. They create the appearance of sincerity while quietly pursuing their own interests. By the time the truth becomes visible, the damage has often already been done. This is why powerful people never confuse honesty with naivete. They understand that you can remain truthful without becoming gullible. They know that kindness does not eliminate the need for caution. Trust should never be given simply because someone speaks well, appears confident, or acts friendly. Character is revealed through consistent actions over time, not through impressive words during the first conversation. Think about how many disappointments begin with misplaced trust. A business partner promises complete honesty, but later hides important information. A friend listens to your private struggles only to repeat them during a disagreement. A colleague praises your work while secretly taking credit for your ideas. None of these situations happen because honesty is wrong. They happen because honesty was offered before character was proven. Powerful people observe before they believe. They pay close attention to how people treat others, not just how they treat them. Anyone can appear respectful when they want something. Anyone can sound trustworthy when there is nothing to lose. But true character reveals itself during difficult moments. It appears when people are under pressure, when they disagree, when they gain power, or when they have the opportunity to benefit at someone else's expense. Honest people who ignore these signs often become easy targets for manipulation. There is another hidden danger that many people overlook. Honest individuals usually communicate exactly what they think. They dislike playing games. They prefer direct conversations and clear intentions. While this is an admirable quality, manipulative people often use that predictability to their advantage. If they know what motivates you, what hurts you, and what you believe, they can carefully shape their words to influence your decisions. They may flatter you when they need your help. They may create guilt when they want your cooperation. They may appeal to your compassion because they know your kindness makes you reluctant to say no. Powerful people recognize these tactics because they understand human nature. They do not become cynical, but they become observant. Before accepting someone's words, they compare them with that person's actions. If someone constantly speaks about loyalty but repeatedly breaks promises, they trust the actions. If someone claims to respect you but only contacts you when they need something, they trust the pattern. They understand that actions reveal intentions far more accurately than conversations ever will. This habit of observation protects them from countless disappointments. Instead of rushing into trust, they allow time to reveal the truth. They know that consistency cannot be faked forever. Sooner or later, every person reveals who they truly are through repeated behavior. Patient observation gives powerful people the information they need without requiring endless questions or emotional confrontations. Another important lesson is that emotional pressure often exposes manipulation. Manipulative people frequently demand immediate decisions. They want quick trust, instant forgiveness, or urgent commitments because they know careful thinking weakens their influence. Honest people sometimes mistake urgency for sincerity. Powerful people do the opposite. Whenever someone pressures them to act without thinking, they slow down instead of speeding up. They understand that truth can withstand patience, but deception usually cannot. Being cautious does not mean becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. It simply means accepting reality as it is. The world contains genuinely honest people and genuinely dishonest people. Wisdom comes from learning to recognize the difference instead of assuming everyone belongs in the first group. You do not protect yourself by abandoning honesty. You protect yourself by combining honesty with observation, patience, and sound judgment. The hidden danger of being honest is not that honesty makes you weak. It is that honesty without awareness can make you an easy target for people who study your openness more carefully than you study their intentions. Powerful people avoid this mistake because they know that truth should always walk beside discernment. They remain honest in their words, careful in their trust, and patient in their judgments. And once you stop assuming everyone deserves complete honesty, you discover one final truth. Sometimes the most intelligent response is not to reveal more, but to let silence protect what honesty alone cannot. Have you ever felt pressured to answer a question, even though you knew the answer was deeply personal? Someone asks about your income, your relationships, your future plans, or the mistakes you've made in life. Almost immediately, you feel that refusing to answer would make you appear dishonest. So you begin explaining yourself. You reveal more than you intended, hoping your honesty will earn respect. But this is where another hidden danger of being honest quietly appears. Many people believe that saying less is the same as hiding the truth. In reality, silence and dishonesty are not the same thing. Silence is often the boundary that protects your peace, your opportunities, and your future. Powerful people understand that they do not have to answer every question simply because it was asked. They remain honest, but they also understand that not every truth belongs in every conversation. One of the biggest misconceptions about honesty is the belief that you owe everyone a complete explanation. This belief causes countless people to expose themselves unnecessarily. They explain every decision they make. They justify every life choice. They defend every action. They reveal every detail because they fear being misunderstood. The irony is that the more they explain themselves, the more opportunities they give others to criticize, question, or manipulate them. Powerful people recognize this pattern early. They understand that endless explanations rarely change the minds of people who have already chosen not to understand them. There is an important difference between telling the truth and revealing everything you know. Imagine someone asks about a personal goal that is still in its early stages. You could describe every strategy, every challenge, and every detail of your plan. Or you could simply say, I'm working on something important. Both answers are truthful. The second answer protects what is still growing. Powerful people choose the second approach because they understand that unfinished dreams need protection more than publicity. This principle applies to every part of life. When someone asks about your financial situation, you are not obligated to reveal every number. When someone asks about your family problems, you do not have to describe every painful detail. When someone demands an explanation for every decision you make, you are not required to satisfy their curiosity. Choosing privacy is not deception, it is wisdom. Your personal life is not public property simply because someone wants access to it. Another hidden danger of excessive honesty is that every unnecessary explanation slowly gives away your confidence. Notice how insecure people often feel the need to justify every action they take. They explain why they accepted a new opportunity. They explain why they ended a relationship. They explain why they changed careers. They explain why they said no. Deep down, they hope that enough explanations will earn approval. But powerful people understand something different. Confidence does not require constant defense. If a decision aligns with your values and your purpose, you do not need to convince everyone else that it was the right choice. This does not mean becoming cold or refusing to communicate. It means recognizing that some conversations deserve explanations while others deserve boundaries. If someone you deeply trust asks about your life with genuine concern, openness can strengthen that relationship. But if someone asks only to satisfy curiosity, gather information, or pass judgment, silence often becomes the wiser response. Powerful people have learned to recognize this difference. They answer sincere questions with honesty and unnecessary questions with respectful restraint. History repeatedly shows that those with real influence rarely reveal every move before they make it. Leaders, entrepreneurs, creators, And high achievers often remain quiet while they are building something meaningful. They do not announce every idea the moment it enters their mind. They understand that every unnecessary conversation invites unnecessary opinion. Some people will discourage them because they cannot see the vision. Others will criticize what they do not understand. A few may even try to imitate or interfere with their plans. By choosing silence, powerful people protect their focus from distractions that could weaken their progress. Silence also protects your emotional stability. Imagine explaining your personal decisions to 10 different people. Each one offers a different opinion. One tells you to quit, another tells you to continue. Someone else questions your judgment, another reminds you of your past failures. Before long, your own voice becomes lost beneath everyone else's. Powerful people avoid this confusion by limiting whose opinions they invite into their lives. They know that clarity grows in quiet places, not in endless debates. Another lesson they understand is that silence creates observation. When you stop filling every moment with explanations, you begin noticing how other people behave. You see who respects your boundaries and who becomes uncomfortable when they cannot gather information from you. You notice who accepts a simple answer and who continues pushing for details they were never entitled to. Sometimes the questions people continue asking reveal far more about their intentions than your answers ever could. Silence also strengthens emotional discipline. The urge to explain yourself often comes from fear, the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. Powerful people refuse to let that fear control them. They accept that not everyone will understand every decision they make, and they are at peace with that reality. They know that constantly seeking approval is exhausting. Protecting your peace is far more valuable than winning every conversation. The hidden danger of being honest is believing that every truth must be spoken the moment someone asks for it. Real wisdom teaches the opposite. Honesty without boundaries creates unnecessary vulnerability, while honesty guided by thoughtful silence creates strength. The strongest people are not those who reveal everything. They are the ones who know exactly what to reveal, when to reveal it, and who has truly earned the privilege of hearing it. And once you understand that silence can protect what honesty alone cannot, the final lesson becomes the most powerful of all. Your character is not proven by how much you say, but by how consistently your actions reveal the truth. Everything we have explored leads to one final truth that separates truly wise people from those who unknowingly make themselves vulnerable. The hidden danger of being honest is not honesty itself. It is believing that your worth depends on constantly proving your honesty through words. Many people spend their lives explaining themselves, defending their intentions, revealing their struggles, and trying to convince others that they are genuine. They believe that if they simply talk long enough, people will finally understand who they really are. But powerful people understand something different. They know that words can create impressions, but actions create belief. Your character is not defined by how much you reveal. It is defined by how consistently you live according to your values. This is why they protect their truth and allow their actions to speak louder than their explanations. Think about the people you genuinely respect. Chances are, your respect for them did not come from listening to endless speeches about how honest they were. It came from watching them keep their promises. It came from seeing them remain consistent, even when life became difficult. It came from observing their integrity over time. Trust was not built because they repeatedly claimed to be trustworthy. Trust was built because their behavior quietly proved it. Powerful people understand that reputation built through actions is far stronger than reputation built through words. Many people unknowingly fall into the habit of over-explaining because they fear being misunderstood. Every time someone questions their decision, they immediately begin defending themselves. Every criticism becomes something they feel obligated to answer. Every misunderstanding becomes a battle they feel they must win. The result is exhausting. Instead of focusing on living with integrity, they become consumed by trying to control how other people see them. The hidden danger is that the more you chase